We should do everything we can to keep creating good middle-class jobs that help folks rebuild security for their families. And we should do everything we can to encourage companies like Daimler to keep investing in American workers. And by the way, what we shouldn't do, I just got to say this, what we shouldn't be doing is trying to take away your rights to bargain for better wages or working together. We shouldn't be doing that. You know, these so-called right-to-work laws, they don't have to do with economics, they have everything to do with politics. What they're really talking about is giving you the right to work for less money. You only have to look to Michigan, where workers were instrumental in reviving the auto industry, to see how unions have helped build not just a stronger middle class, but a stronger America. So folks from our state's capital all the way to the nation's capital, they should be focused on the same thing. They should be working to make sure companies like this manufacturer is able to make more great products. That's what they should be focused on. We don't want a race to the bottom. We want a race to the top. America's not going to compete based on low skill, low wage, no workers' rights. That's not our competitive advantage. There's always going to be some other country that can treat its workers even worse. Right? What's going to make us succeed is we got the best workers, well-trained, reliable, productive, low turnover, healthy. That's what makes us strong. And it also is what allows our workers then to buy the products that we make, because they got enough money in their pockets. So we've got to get past this whole situation where we manufacture crises because of politics. That actually leads to less certainty, more conflict, and we can't all focus on coming together to grow. And the same thing, we're seeing the same thing in Washington. I'm sure you've all heard the talk recently about some big deadlines we're facing in a few weeks when it comes to decisions on jobs and investment and taxes. And that debate's going to have a big impact on all of you. Some of you may know this. If Congress doesn't act soon, meaning in the next few weeks, starting on January 1st, everybody's going to see their income taxes go up. It's true. You all don't like that, huh? Typical middle-class family of four will see an income tax hike of around $2,200. How many of you can afford to pay another $2,200 in taxes? Not you? No, I didn't think so. You can't afford to lose that money. That's a hit you can't afford to take. And by the way, that's not a good hit for businesses either. Because if Congress lets middle-class taxes go up, economists will tell you that means people will spend nearly $200 billion less than they otherwise would spend. Right? Consumer spending is going to go down. That means you got less customers, businesses get fewer profits, they hire fewer workers, you go in a downward spiral. Wrong idea. Here's the good news. We can solve this problem. All Congress needs to do is pass a law that would prevent a tax hike on the first $250,000 of everybody's income. Everybody. That means 98% of Americans, and probably 100% of you 97% of small businesses wouldn't see their income taxes go up a single dime. Even the wealthiest Americans would still get a tax cut on the first $250,000 of their income. But when they start making $1 million or, you know, 10 million or 20 million, you can afford to pay a little bit more. You know, you're not too strapped. So Congress can do that right now. Everybody says they agree with it. Let's get it done. Now, so that's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum we should be doing in order to grow the economy. But we can do more. We can do more than just extend middle-class tax cuts. I've said I will work with Republicans on a plan for economic growth, job creation, and reducing our deficits. And that has some compromise between Democrats and Republicans. I understand there's people have a lot of different views. I'm willing to compromise a little bit. But if we're serious about reducing our deficit, we've also got to be serious about investing in the things that help us grow and make the middle class strong, like education and research and development, and making sure kids can go to college, and rebuilding our roads and our infrastructure. We got to do that. So when you put it all together, what you need is a package that keeps taxes where they are for middle-class families. We make some tough spending cuts on things that we don't need, and then we ask the wealthiest Americans to pay a slightly higher tax rate. And that's a principle I won't compromise on, because I'm not going to have a situation where the wealthiest among us, including folks like me, get to keep all our tax breaks, and then we're asking students to pay higher student loans. Or, suddenly, a school doesn't have school books because the school district couldn't afford it. Or some family that has a disabled kid isn't getting the help that they need through Medicaid. We're not going to do that. We're not going to make that trade-off. That's not going to help us to grow. Our economic success has never come from the top down. It comes from the middle out. It comes from the bottom up. It comes from folks like you working hard. And if you're working hard and you're successful, then you become customers, and everybody does well. Our success as a country in this new century will be defined by how well we educate our kids, how well we train our workers, how well we invent, how well we innovate, how well we build things like cars and engines, all the things that helped create the greatest middle class the world's ever known. That's how you bring new jobs back to Detroit. That's how you bring good jobs back to America. That's what I'm focused on. That's what I will stay relentlessly focused on going forward. Because when we focus on these things, when we stay true to ourselves and our history, there's nothing we can't do.